So the topic for now is syllable stress in words. So you know that most of the words are divided into different sections. The word is not really a monotonous one section thing. It is divided into different sections, and these different sections are called syllables. You might know a lot about syllables already. If you don't don't really worry. I'm going to tell you everything in a very simple way. So let's go for a very simple definition of syllable. What exactly is a syllable? I'm going to read a Google derived definition. A unit of pronunciation having one vowel sound with or without surrounding consonants forming the whole or a part of a word. For example, there are two syllables in water and three syllables in inferno. So this is the complicated definition. You can go about it, you can understand it. If you understand it really well, all good. But the way that I understood about syllable was through a very simple trick that my teachers taught me back in school. So what we used to do is, what she told me was, find a pen and just hold it below your chin. And the number of times that your chin drops is the syllable in the word, is the number of syllables in the word. So it's a very simple exercise. I'll show you with example. For example, I will take a word hunting. Okay, a random noun. So when I hold my pen below my chin, hunting. So my jaw dropped 2 times. So what exactly is the syllable here? Hun, the pronunciation of the vowel sound. Hun, un, on, that pronunciation, that is one syllable. And ting, ing, I, it's like a vowel sound. Ing pronunciation, that is another syllable. So the word is divided into 2 syllables. So there are words that can be divided into n number of syllables. There can be 5, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, any number of syllables in a word. So I'll give you another example. Studio, stu-d-o. So there are 3. The jaw dropped thrice. You hold a pen right below your chin and see how many times your jaw drops. Stu-d-o. So the syllables here, u, e, o. So the vowel sounds. So it is a 3-syllable word. So the word can be divided into different syllables, and we are also going to understand which syllable exactly we need to focus and exaggerate and stress upon in order to make sense to the word. All right. So there are a lot of like every it's categorized based on adjective and nouns and words. So now we'll try to understand the stress in 2-syllable words. Okay, so if that word happens to be a noun, okay, I'm repeating, let me repeat. If that word happens to be a noun or an adjective, noun meaning anything, name, place, animal, thing, adjective meaning anything that adds more value to the noun. Okay, adjective adds value or meaning to the noun, describes the noun. So anything that is a word is a noun or an adjective and it has 2 syllables, then we have to stress on the first syllable. I'll give you an example. Okay, object. Object is a noun. So let's hold it below here. Object. Okay, so the word is a 2-syllable word. It is a noun. So we will stress on the first syllable. The first syllable here is ob and the second here is ject. Object. So we'll actually stress more upon ob. So object. We never say object. We don't say object. We say object. All right. We stress upon the first word that we see. I'll show you another example. Adjective. Lucky. So lucky. It's 2-syllable word. La-a-ki. Lucky. Lucky. So you stress more on the first section. Lucky. You don't say lucky. You don't say lucky. You say lucky. That is the correct way to say it. And then there is another word. Ugliest. Ugliest. 2-syllable word again. You don't say ugliest. Ugliest. You don't say ugliest. You say ugliest. Ugliest. You focus more on the first syllable. Okay? I hope the concept is clear. When a word has 2 syllables, you stress upon the first syllable. All right. So there is different repair. So repair. So you in this section, repair is actually a verb. I'll tell you anything about. I'll tell you more about it later. Let's skip repair. We can take any word like happy. Happy. Again, two-syllable word. Happy. So the first syllable, that is where we have to stress. Happy. We don't say happy. We say happy. Happy. We stress more on the first section, and the second section becomes a little weaker than the first one. All right. So these syllable stresses help identify the kind of the categorization that the word has. Like in this section, we are talking about two-syllable words. It will help us identify which word it belongs to. It is an adjective, it is a noun, or it is a verb. It will help us understand that. Okay. So I'll take another word. For example, we can take curtain. Okay, curtain. Curtain, two-syllable word again. Curtain. So my chin touched twice. So curtain. We focus more on the first syllable. Curtain. And the second syllable just it makes a sound of un. It doesn't really add a lot of sound to it. Curtain. And then there are different words. Plain suppose. We don't say suppose. We say suppose. We add, again, there's a two-syllable word. We add more stress on the first syllable. So all in all, if we have a word that is a noun and it has two syllables, if it is a noun or an adjective, we stress more on the first syllable. I hope that's clear. Now, this might sound something very normal that you might already know, but it's going to add relevance once you start reading scripts. This is where the accuracy will come in. The accuracy will help you, it will sound really good once you start pronouncing words in the way that they're supposed to. It will sound really good. So the next is if you have a noun or an adjective, we stress on the first syllable. If we have an adjective, if we have a verb or a preposition, okay? If we have a verb or a preposition, we focus more on the second syllable. This is again about two-syllable words. If we have a verb or a preposition, we stress on the second syllable. I'll give you an example, don't worry. So, like a few seconds ago, I took a word called repair. So, in this word, how about if we just pronounce this as repair? Does it sound good? I don't think so. Repair. Re is the first section, pair is the second syllable, and repair. Then there is another word, belong. Belong. We don't say belong. We say belong. We do not stress more on the first section. We stress more on the second section. And there are different words here like present. Their exports, increase, discount. Present. Okay. So present is actually, I'll also tell you, present is actually a verb as well as a noun. We'll talk more about it just in a second. So there are different words. Like there is another word we can say, possess. Possess is a verb. Possess. We do not stress more on the first section, possess. We stress more on zess. Possess. P is it's just a tiny section. We let zess take control of the word. So there are a few words which are actually nouns as well as verbs. All right. So let me give you an example. Present. Just talked about it a few seconds ago. Present. So when it is pronounced as a noun, you will stress more on the first section. Present. Present implying a gift or anything that is deliverable to someone. present. And when you're in a presentation and you're delivering some speech or you're just giving out some PowerPoint presentation, it's present. Present. When it's a verb, present, you stress more on the second section. And when it's a noun, you stress more on the first section. There are different words of these kinds. I'll just tell you a few of those. Protest. Okay, protest. So protest is a noun. Protest is also a noun and also a verb. Protest is something that many people have just gathered and they're just shouting for something. Protest. That is protest. But an activity of telling someone to go and protest. 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 We stress less on the first syllable. We stress more on the second syllable. Protest. 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 We say protest. We don't say protest. Protest is a noun. All right. Similarly, there's another word, discount. Discount. So when it's a noun, we'll say discount. But when it is used as a verb, we'll say discount. Discount. Can you please discount this? Hey, there's great discount. Discount. Okay. There's great discount in Zara. All right. So even the same sentences can be pronounced differently and still have different meanings to them. Like English is a very fantastic language. You'll have a lot of variations. You can create a lot of variations from anywhere. So there's permit. Like there's another word, permit. So the man there has a liquor permit. Permit. When you say a noun, permit, you focus more on the first syllable, per, and you do not focus less. You focus less on the second one, permit. He has a liquor permit. But when you say, would you permit me to go to the washroom? You focus more on the second syllable. All right. So I hope it's clear. I'll repeat again. When it's a noun or an adjective, you have to focus more on the first syllable. You have to stress more on the first syllable. And when you have an adjective or a preposition, you stress more on the second syllable. Okay, so you'll have an obvious question. What if we have 3 syllables in a word? There could be 3 or more or any number of syllables. So I'll tell you about 3 syllables. And for 4 and 5 syllables, it's very difficult to categorize this in a singular manner. There's different logics to it, and many words are pronounced differently when the number of syllables are more than 3. So we cannot categorize or generalize it. But you can always, like any time that you are confused about how the word is pronounced or where exactly we have to stress, just go to Google and enter that word and type, for example, just put that word, exports, and exports pronunciation. You will have a Google lady with the lips on the screen. Just choose British English and try to understand the pronunciation. Okay, so this is the story altogether. You have to distinguish this and you have to pronounce them really like accurately. You cannot like mismatch it, because when you mismatch it, it will look very odd. Okay, so like there's a word contest. If you say contest, it doesn't sound very professional. Contest, it's a noun, and it's not an adjective. It's not a verb. It's not a preposition. It's not an adverb. It's a noun. You have to stress only the first section. You should not stress any other section. Contest, although it could be right, it could be heard, the message will be very clear to the one who is listening, but it does not sound right. Right? So you have to really keep in touch with all these words and follow these rules. Okay, you'll have a document about how to pronounce words and which exactly you need to take, how do you categorize them. You'll have all of it in detail. But remember this, like even if anytime, even after listening to this video, you're confused, just go to Google and find the pronunciations on Google and try to imitate them. Very simple. If you're not able to remember all of this, just try to find pronunciations on Google and remember them. And then you read out the script. Okay. Yeah, I'll also tell you about how to go about the script. I'll give you now before closing. I'll also tell you some. I'll tell you about three syllable words. So any three syllable word that ends in er or ly. Okay. So in that case, you have to stress on the first syllable. I'll give you an example. Jupiter. Jupiter has three syllables. Jupiter. Three syllables. All right. What you do is you stress on the first syllable. When there are three syllables in a word, you have to stress on the first syllable. Jupiter. 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 You're stressing more on the first second. Jupiter. Jupiter. You don't say Jupiter. Jupiter. You don't say that. You say Jupiter. There's another word. November. November. You say November. If you say November, you're actually making it a verb. Okay, it's a noun. November. November. No, November. You stress more on the first syllable. No. November. When there's another distinguishment, that is ly. So silently. So we stress more on the first syllable. Silently. But we stress more on the first syllable. When silently. Silently. We don't say silently. Silently. We don't see that. If we had to stress on other syllables, it would appear as silently. It wouldn't sound right, right? Hence, silently. So any word, any three syllable word which has er or ly at the end, we have to stress more on the first syllable. Okay. So any word, the next section is any word which ends with a consonant. Consonant is everything besides the vowels, which are the 5 a, e, I, o, u vowels. So if you have anything which is besides the vowels, and so any word that ends in a consonant or ends in a y, again you have to stress on the first syllable. This is for a three syllable word. Any three syllable word that ends with a consonant or a y, you have to stress more on the first syllable. I'll give you an example. Applicant. 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 Machin fell thrice. Three syllable word. You don't say applicant. 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 No. You say applicant. Applicant. You stress more on the first syllable. Then there's formula. You don't say formula. You don't say formula. You say formula. Formula. Okay? So there's unlikely. Unlikely. You stress more on un. So any three syllable word that ends with y or a consonant will have the first syllable as the stress syllable. All right? So I've created a sentence for you, and the sentence will be displayed on the screen. Just try to highlight which sentence, which word has which syllable which has to be stressed. Identify the syllable that needs to be stressed. I will read out the sentence. You'll have this. You'll have it on the screen somehow. There was a protest to discount prices of fuel in India. Students with good conduct conducted the formalities. The compound permits were taken, and refund for the price difference was expected. The compounded effect of public's voice resulted in reduction of export duties. The campus was then perfumed with famous La Dolce Vita perfume. Okay, so here you can see that perfume has been used differently in two different sentences and also have been stressed differently. Perfumed. And when it came to noun, perfume. Export. So when you use export as a noun, it is export. When you use it as a verb, it's export. Export. And then there's another pair of word, that is conduct and conducted. When you use it as a noun, you have to stress more on the first syllable. Conduct. Conduct. So you stress more on conduct. when it is used as a verb, you stress more on the second syllable. Conduct, conduct, conduct. You don't say conducted. No, that doesn't sound good. Conducted. You say conducted. You stress more on the second syllable. So I hope you understand about the stress that needs to be given on to different syllables and how these stress points identify the word as whole. If it's an adjective, it's a verb or a noun, and it makes a difference. Okay, when you go about like reading all these scripts, when you're good at these basics, it will show. And when you're good at all these basics, it will show, and clients will just get back to you sooner. All right, so it's very simple. It's fairly simple. If you do not understand, just rewind this entire video and watch it again. You'll just understand all of it. And this is the only relevance. I'm not teaching you everything about adjective, verb, noun, or anything. I'm just telling you what is relevant to voiceovers. Once you move ahead, you'll understand why it is relevant. All right. I hope you understand. And if there are any questions, do let me know. Thank you.